You know what I mean? Like, but it seems like they're setting themselves on fire almost. And you're like, listen, okay.
Mics are hot, you're up.
Good evening and welcome to welcome. It's February 3rd, 2025, Spalding County Board of Commissioners regular session. The time is 6 p.m. We would ask you that you please silence your cell phones and all other electronic devices. At this time, I would like to ask Commissioner Reginald Watts to offer the invocation and Commissioner James Dutton to lead us in the pledge of the flag.
Let us pray. Eternal God, our Father, we come to you with bowed heads and humble hearts. Lord, we pray for this great community. Lord, we ask that you guide us to lead this great community. We thank you. We honor you. It is in your powerful name your people have prayed. Amen. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge of the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'd like to have a motion to amend the agenda to discuss the need for a GIS a junior analyst or technician, as was discussed during the workshop.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add the item you just described.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0 motion is, agenda is amended.
Mr. Chairman, I believe we need a second amendment. In presentations and proclamations, we have a group here to present our portrait from Spalding, England, as well. That was supposed to be on the agenda.
Please forgive me. Yes, sir.
Oh, all right, let's make that,
Is that your motion?
Yeah, just to amend it under presentations and
And I'll
proclamations. Sorry, that
second
should
it.
have been there.
all right, I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0. All right, we're at the presentation and proclamation time. James?
Great. So as mentioned previously at the last couple meetings, I go as sort of a representative for Spalding County to these various meetings. One of the great groups is here with us tonight. They have come to present to us, but I'll let them come up to the microphone here if they want to come up, and then we'll go down and take a picture.
Oh,
Thank you very much for having us. We're here to present to Spalding County and to the city of Griffin this portrait here, this
look at that.
print of Spalding, England. We are promoting a global trade and investment symposium in Macon. There's going to be representation from up to 9 countries, I believe, as well as companies such as YKK, Delta, and others. And we're going across the state to try and get as much representation from each county as possible. In the nature and in the motion of international relations and trade and this type of thing, we thought that it would be worthwhile to present this to Spalding County. So perhaps in the future, this could promote relations between Spalding County and Spalding, England, perhaps sister cities, and a relationship can blossom from there.
Oh, thank you.
Outstanding.
Outstanding. Come on.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. It's in the north of England, or sort of right in the middle of the island.
Nice to meet you, sir. Speak up there.
And are we squared away, Larry? You are. Okay. All right, everybody get where you can see Larry? Just a minute, we'll have Larry here center so that everybody gets a good picture? Okay. You all get it? All right, doctor, come on. Oh, oh. Where do you need to be?
Yes, ma'am, right here. I want to share these. By the way, he's
Thank you.
Guess we'll see y'all then, maybe Thursday.
All right, appreciate it.
That, I mean, it should be good.
All right. Very ready to sit.
Okay.
Thank y'all for coming.
Yes, thank you.
guys.
And we'll see you at the symposium.
See you guys. Thank you, guys.
Be safe.
All right, all right.
All right. Citizens' comments. Speakers must sign up prior to the meeting and provide their names, addresses, and the topic they wish to discuss. Speakers must direct your comments to the board and not to individual commissioners or to audience. Personal disagreements with individual commissioners or county employees are not a matter of public concern, and personal attacks will not be tolerated. The chairman has the right to limit your comments in the interest of disposing of the county's business in an efficient and respectful manner. Speakers will be allocated 3 minutes, and the clock will show that in just a minute, to speak on their chosen topics as they relate to matters pertaining to the jurisdiction of the Board of Commissioners. No questions will be asked by any of the commissioners during citizen comments. Outbursts from the audience will not be tolerated. Common courtesy and civility are expected at all times during this meeting. No speakers will be permitted to speak more than 3 minutes or more than once unless the board votes to suspend this rule. Dr. Ledbetter, do we have people to speak tonight?
Yes, sir, we do. We have 3 signed up to speak. First up is Judge Josh Thacker.
Hello, Judge Thacker.
This is Josh Thacker. I'm just a citizen commenting.
That's right.
So I'm Josh Thacker. I live at 915 Springer Drive here in Griffin, about a mile from here. And I just realized that usually when I'm here, I'm causing some sort of trouble for you. And tonight I was here and I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to say thanks because y'all can't ask me questions and I can't ask you questions. So it's a perfect opportunity. But in all sincerity, all jokes aside, I just thought this was a good chance for me to say thanks. I have come in, I'm now starting my 3rd term, and you all have been so supportive of the state court and the courthouse and all of the, frankly, crazy ideas that we've come up with to make it better, some of which we've had to go, well, that didn't work, but you've let us have our opportunities. And I also want to just take a moment because Spalding County, our citizens don't see this, but I just thought we should say it. We have such solid lines of communication in Spalding County that the citizens never see. Between myself and the coroner and the sheriff and y'all and each other. And I just realized that, I wanted to say thank you for that because obviously y'all's communication with us fosters all the elected officials and judges communicating with each other. And, that's never going to make the front page of the Griffin Daily News. Judge Thacker texts Judge Ott and says, hey, by the way, we're working on this thing and we've reached the next step in the process. But the fact is that, I talk to other judges throughout the, throughout the state. They're often in sort of conflict with either their clerk or their commissioners or their sheriff or somebody. And we just don't have that here. And I love that. And I'm so incredibly proud to be a elected department head for Spalding County. So that's it. I have 1:30 and I'm going to waive my time, but I just wanted to say thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Josh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephen Smith.
That's a young man. That was.
Sorry,
yeah.
so I think those were those 2. So I think they have departed because the next is Christopher Smith. So
Yep.
I think both of
That was
those
that,
have departed us. So that's all that have signed up this evening, sir.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is our consideration to approve the January 27th, 2025 extraordinary session minutes. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the January 27th, 2025 extraordinary session.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. New business. Next on the agenda is our consideration to approve the FY 2025 budget amendments for the prior year encumbrances. Is there a motion to approve?
Yes.
Yeah.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
This is all just accounting, moving line items to, I mean, it's,
Yes, sir, it is.
there's nothing actual
It-
physically happening. We're not changing
This
bank
is-
accounts or nothing. It's
No,
just,
sir, we are not.
We went through this at the workshop and asked specifically about specific items that we didn't have any, we had questions about. And Ms. Dye was able to answer them fully and to our absolute understanding. So we appreciate that opportunity from her. All right, any other discussion?
I'm an expert in a lot of things, but when it comes to accounting and taxes, I tell my CPA wife, yes, ma'am, and do whatever she tells me.
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0. Next on the agenda is the update on the zoning code projects. This is a big thing that we've been working on for a while. Dr. Ledbetter?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Staff and I have been working with Gerard and Davis on our update for our zoning ordinance. Staff is in, Director Allen is in the audience with us this evening. We are working diligently toward this with a finalization to the program by June, and that means that you're going to be seeing those ordinances along the journey. This is a big lift that we're going to ask of our Board of Commissioners to review this material. Just as an aside, the off-airport stakeholder committee is also reviewing and doing a suggested amendment to the airport overlay. So that's in the work as well. We have a number of members off of that committee who are participating on the update for that overlay. Myself or Mr. Allen are in the room and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding the zoning ordinance.
I don't have a question. I just want to kind of like fuss. I'm confused. I'm talking county manager. I'm confused because it appears to me that part of our quandary that we're having is not necessarily that we need to update our ordinance. And I'm not saying that they don't. I know that they need to be updated. But it's just something not right in the planning commission. Because I don't believe that the individuals in the planning commission have a clue about what it is that we want. So let me say it another way. When something comes to us from the planning commission, I don't always expect for staff in the planning commission to be in agreement. Because my expectation from you is that staff is going completely by the ordinance. And if our ordinance looks like that can't happen in that, then I would expect that the staff recommendation would come back as, no, that can't happen.
But it doesn't always.
I rarely see that. And then when I look at the decisions that are being made and coming to us, we got to do the same work over again. And I'm not saying I think that we need to become the zoning board, but if we don't get what we need out of that board, then we need to just stop it because we have to end up hashing it all out. Nobody asked questions. I mean, is that our fault because it's who we pick? Because we know most of the people we picked are not experts in zoning. So I just, what good is us having a new and updated zoning if we're going to still be coming to the same party and ending up with the same results? Help me understand that.
I think those are excellent points. Some thoughts just off the cuff. I I would very much like to send our planning commission to the Carl Vincent Institute of Government and get them through Planning 101.
That's great.
I would also remind the Board of Commissioners that our county attorney and I are working diligently to have an all boards meeting, and this would afford us the opportunity to sit down and have a conversation with the members who are on that board. But I think you bring up an excellent point. There is an opportunity to make sure that our planning commission is thoroughly understanding of our ordinances. And that's a big lift for a solely voluntary board who does not get paid for any of the time that they invest in us.
Totally understand that. I totally understand that, but I'm also about working smart, not hard.
I agree.
And when individuals who have concerns around issues that are being zoned come into the meeting and make accusations that our board members are doing something illegal or they're doing something unknowledgeable, we already know that they don't have the skill set. I would not like to be that one getting beat up because I don't know everything about zoning. So, I just kind of feel like before they get it, maybe our staff should be, okay, this is what we say it's gonna be. Now, I'm gonna tell you all about it, and y'all can talk about it, but this is what staff's recommendation is. And based on whatever that is, because if they think that their goal is to figure out a way for people to be able to do stuff, that's us.
Right.
We're the people who make the exception
Right.
to the rule.
Right.
I don't need them in that capacity taking on the responsibility of deciding. And for a fact, if people come up in here, it's very easy to be swayed by peer pressure. And we get paid to have to suffer that. They don't.
Right.
And it's ridiculous for us to expect them to go through that and not have given them the training, and of course they don't get any benefit. All they basically get is beat up. And then when it gets to us, we tear it apart as if all the work that they did was nil. So I'm fussing at you. I don't even know what the answer is, but we got to do something different.
Staff and I will
To get
work
different
on
results.
providing an answer for you. Yes, ma'am,
And
and thank you for that
She beat me
opportunity.
to it because that was gonna be in my closing statements, because I even talked to Clay before, and I ain't gonna say no names, there's several new people on there, but there's a lot of stuff that should never make it to us. Now we gotta be the bad guys on everything. There's stuff that was brought to the planning commission that everybody's having to stop and research. It's not our job to research it. It was the job of the people that brought it in front of us to research it. So they either vote it in or vote it down. It should have died or been stopped right there. But I think the board meeting with everybody together, everybody gets to meet everybody, and they kind of, because they don't know which way we're going. We got to sit down and talk to them and kind of say, this is the direction we would like to go, and just let them fill us out, because they don't have a clue.
I mean, Reggie has us and all these guys to tell him because he's new. But when you come in off the street,
And he's
And
got
you-
certification to go,
right, I'm
that we're
saying,
going through.
So if that means we need to send them to Carl Vincent Zoning 101, what I just need for them to understand is that the decision that comes out of there should be based on what our ordinance says, not how y'all can figure out to
Right.
work it out for them.
Right.
That's for us,
Right.
because the
Jump through hoops.
taxpayers hold us responsible for making bad decisions, not us trying to undo a bad decision that was made in a committee.
And it sets up false expectations
Yeah.
for the citizens who all of a sudden say, well, the planning commission said, and now we say, but that's not what our ordinance says, and we're rule followers and we're going by it, but we could make the exception, but we're not in this case. So yes,
You know how hard people can be on you in this volunteering, and they giving you the business?
Commissioner Flowers said that we want to work smart, not hard. I want to work hard and smart. We have to clean up the front end, but we got to make sure the back end is correct too. That we're doing our inspections and we're coming in with an absolute fine tooth comb. Some of the stuff that the home, like the buyer's inspectors are finding, is stuff that our inspectors should have been finding. And this joist is not done right. Like, I get that there's a difference in what we're doing. They're looking at compliance or whatever. But if the house simply isn't built like it should be, that our standards are, then our people should have said, you gotta redo this. You know
Should've
what I
caught
mean? So, and I'm totally including, up to and including, hey, you gotta tear this building down. It's not around the right size. You gotta, well, that costs a bunch of money. Well, then you should have done it right. Our job is, you have to comply with these laws, and, I'm sorry that the Pinto explodes and it's gonna cost you a bunch of money, but you should pull them off the road and, so.
I
So we're
love
all
this
on the
discussion.
same page
I
about
think it's exactly right. This is what we need to be doing for upfront and the backside. Great
Okay.
points. Thank you.
All right, by June, we should have new zoning ordinances done. Good deal. Next on the agenda is update of the Code of Ordinances project. County
Mr.
Attorney?
Chairman, along the same lines, this is a huge undertaking and it is a huge ask and lift of the Board of Commissioners. We haven't completed our review yet, but what I would like to do is actually beginning next month, bring you a section of the general code to review, because it's way too much, for me to ask of you to do
Review.
the whole thing at one time. And the truth of the matter is, there aren't many weeks that go by that I don't get a call from a department head about a change that is needed to a particular ordinance that affects them. So it is going to be a continual work in progress, I believe, but I do have, the first couple of sections really ready to bring to you, and I would like to start doing that next month if possible.
Yes,
I'm ready.
at work sessions. My intent is take each work session, take a section or whatever the county attorney's got, bring it to us. We'll go through it, give her the guidance she needs, and then she can go back and finalize that, and then we will come through again. So each work session, we're gonna take part of the ordinances and work through them along with the other issues we want. All right?
I think total there are 27 chapters. So this is going to be a very heavy lift for us to move through, but I think we're in a position to start with Stephanie's 2 initial chapters, which will take us through probably the end of the year to finish everything if we go through all 27 chapters.
Okay, everybody understands the time frame. It may not be what we want, but work is what it is.
Our plan is to bring to you the building codes and the building requirements for our community first as the development that we're seeing coming to us takes precedence. So the manufacturing, commercial, industrial off of AKB is of high priority because that's one of the areas that we're looking at very short term. The building code for residential is high priority because that's where we're looking at short term. And we want to make sure that we're putting that in front of you so that we can get out in front of the areas that we know that are coming to you as quickly as we possibly can.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, nobody's coming to us fussing about what agritourism zoning is.
That's correct.
So that's not something that we just need to be looking at tomorrow, but we have some hot burning bushes that pretty much need to be put out on
Yes,
the first couple of rounds of her training us about it.
All right, thank you very much.
Next item, consider approval of the staff's recommendation to add a GIS general analyst or technician in support of the county's project to include public works, road inventory, storm water, and community development. Do I have a motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to approve, partnering with, the Spalding County Water Authority by, creating a position for a GIS, individual who will work out of the Water Authority office with the other GIS staff to do work for Spalding County.
Second,
Okay, discussion?
my question is, we're paying for it, they're gonna work with the water departments, the water authorities, GIS, but who do they answer to? Like where are they in the hierarchy?
So they will answer directly to us for the overarching, but they're going to answer to Chris Reagan, who is the GIS manager. Chris is extremely knowledgeable,
But he's a
very
water
well versed.
authority.
He's in the water
Okay.
authority. And he has a grasp on GIS better than anybody I've ever seen.
And
I
this just,
I just want
yeah,
to
yeah,
place them
this
as
just
a-
goes along with the other two we already have that are just exactly like this guy.
Just we have or that the water authority has?
Water Authority. Water Authority has a GIS manager and a GIS senior analyst, and they are just absolutely knocking it out of the park.
And I think this person should be fairly like a new grad, so they will have the advantage of the GIS is already in place for them to work toward their full certification.
That is correct, yes, ma'am.
Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. At this time, we're at report of the county manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The ACC Annual Conference is quickly approaching, and February the 10th is the first day to make reservations for our training. Our Deputy County Clerk, Mr. Houghton, will reach out to you in the next week or so and check with you regarding the training that you would like to register. But if you would, please let us know who is going, when you're going to attend, so that we can make sure that we register you and make reservations at the hotel.
Did you say legislative?
ACCG Annual Conference.
In April.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, oh, wow.
This is Savannah.
It will be in Savannah again this year, and remember, last year, it only took 10 seconds for ACCG to have all of their blocks completely sold. And that's not being funny, it physically sold in 10 seconds. So we will need to know all of your information as soon as you can get it to us so that we can make sure that we get you registered appropriately.
That was Friday. Monday's the 10th.
Monday's it. Do we have something that, just go online to ACCG and look at the conference registration?
We do. I will ask Erica if she will send out the information for what classes are available so that you can see that before now and
Okay.
Monday. Chris is away from us this evening, and I want to give him kudos. He's in attendance at Jekyll Island this week with the Georgia Clerks Association, going through his core mandated training for county clerk. The 2024 T-Splost projects are complete, and that includes the striping of the roads. We learned that all the striping had been completed last week, and we're preparing the bid package for next year's projects, which will also include the repaving, not just the resurfacing, but the repaving of Jackson Road. That road is in dire straits and desperately needs a major repair project.
Thank you.
Jackson Road past the four-way stop.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You
Not
know, I always-
155.
I
Yeah,
know,
I'm-
'cause
I'm
that's the first thing I want to say is,
I'm separating the GDOT owned road from the
So
county
our
road.
road.
That's correct.
Yeah, and when we do that, are we looking at doing some super paving on that road? It has
That-
been beat down.
That's why we're having to repave and not resurface. We're having to take a portion of the road all the way down to the base and then redo the base, because the road is not built at super paving requirements. So it's going to be a major cost for repaving of that road. Matter of fact, initial indications are it's 2.3 million just for that road
How
alone.
long is that from there to where we go?
5.6 or 5.7
Oh,
miles.
wow, okay. Did we already pave and do Musgrove Road?
I believe so, yes, ma'am.
I drove on that road the other day and I thought, this is the best county road I've ever driven on. It's nothing new. I mean, yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
Yes, ma'am,
Very smooth. Obviously, no trucks are riding on that street.
That's very true. I will give shout outs to CW Matthews for the work they're doing to resurface our roads. They're doing a very good job. There was one section of West Ellis Road that had some challenges in the really bad curve. And CW Matthews went out and dug that area up and repatched that area and then resurfaced it again. So they did a really good job to make
Good.
sure that they're taking care of our community. The road assessment field work for the next round of T-Splost projects is complete. It was completed last week, and we expect to have the list of the roads for your review within the next 30 days. So that is coming to you very quickly. We have two public hearings scheduled for House Bill 581 on February the 12th, one at 10 o'clock, one at 6 o'clock. And then the third public hearing is scheduled for February the 17th at 6 p.m. And we would encourage all of our community to come out and listen to the presentations and share with the Board of Commissioners their thoughts regarding House Bill 581. And Mr. Chair, that's all of my updates for this evening.
All right, Ms. Erica Dye?
I don't have anything.
Okay,
Yes, you do.
audit. Audit.
Oh, yes, I do have something to mention. The FY twenty-four audit is complete. I have submitted all the necessary documents to all the pertinent parties concerning all of our loans, DCA, all the other state agencies that are. What?
This is the audit.
Oh, yes, and that is the audit that Dr. Ledbetter is holding up. But we have a clean, unmodified opinion with no findings.
Yay!
Our auditor will be here for the meeting the first Monday at 6 o'clock to
First
present.
Monday of March.
Yes, the first Monday in March.
Okay,
To present.
that's all good news. We like that. Thank you. All right, Commissioner Watts?
I would like to send a big shout out to Firehouse Sub for the grant today. Great job. I mean, it's gonna make the community safer. And I want to encourage all the citizens to come out to the public hearings on House Bill 581. I need to learn more about this bill myself, so I encourage everybody to come out. And that's all I have.
Okay. Commissioner Bolden?
You're probably gonna hear this from me every meeting till it's open, but we got any updates on Blaylock, the recycling centers?
The recycling center will be open as soon as we get the feedback from GDOT with respect to the clearance of the roadway.
Okay.
Again, I am begging our community, please be careful when you go in and out of that location because of the speeds on that roadway. It's an extremely dangerous place to ingress or egress from, so please be careful.
And the second thing I got, for the House Bill 581, and I know this is kind of a wish, but I would love to get Beth Kemp in here to talk like she did at the Board of Education, school board stuff, just to kind of open everybody's ears and eyes to everything, because there's a lot of stuff that come alight that's not written anywhere that I've seen or had a chance to talk to Stephanie about and getting updated on. But it'd just be nice for the citizens to hear it.
Yes, sir, I will make that request either this evening or first thing in the morning.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Quinn Flowers Taylor?
Yes, I'm sitting here kind of looking at Ryan like, okay, yeah. 'Cause I'm pretty sure I already know what you said, because you're the one that wrote the thing. But, yes, I had a call today, someone asking about House Bill 581, and I would like to also say that it's very important. It not only does it affect the, residential households here, but it will determine how we're able to manage our finances as a county over the next several years. And for me, that's at least for 4 years, because I'll be here that long. But we have to be the determiners of our own destiny. I don't want to look back later and say, well, we're messed up because, we didn't do anything. So, and I think part of what I've learned so far has helped me to understand it's important for us to help the community to understand that there are hidden things
That's right.
that the legislation didn't talk about. And so we'll all be able to become more educated on that. I wanted to say that the employee appreciation event, I attended the morning part of that the other day, and it was a very nice event. People from Public Works, Animal Control, a few people from the Sheriff's Department, from all different departments were in. Chris was in the water. There was gaming activities, and if you wanted to swim, you could swim, and some people did swim. But I think that doing something like that it's not huge, but it says we really appreciate you. And so many people said, we know y'all didn't have to do this. And the varsity was there. Of course, the food was great. But yeah, it was a wonderful event, and I appreciated that it went off so well, and that's how we're doing our folks now. So maybe the next time we'll be using wellness grant money to actually make some people get in the pool. Get in there and,
Okay.
move their legs 4 or 5 times. But anyway, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Vice Chair?
Well, I've got a bit more. I missed last meeting, so I get to talk twice. No, so I thank y'all for being patient with me while I was out, not getting y'all sick. So I wanted to say thank you for the county. The Martin Luther King Parade was really fun. We had our amazing star
Songsters.
voice over there. I had no idea, and really I was honored to just be there and just be on the same vehicle with her. Going into some of the stuff we talked about tonight, people say, well, you guys only want that big development here, there, or the other place because all the tax revenue it's going to give for you. And I was at a meeting in Fayette County last week, and the commissioners there, who don't quite have the lights that we have, were like, yeah, this is going to be great when we bring in 700 new apartments. Look at all this tax revenue. But we know, because of our amazing county manager and the work that Georgia Tech did, that for every dollar that a residential project brings in at any scale in tax revenue, that the county has to spend $1.16 providing services. So, it's going to bring in $1 million more to the county's. Okay, that means $1,160,000 we're going to have to spend in new sheriff's deputies and stuff. So it's like, wow. It's not a foregone conclusion that any of these things that are coming before us, but when something comes in, we need to make really, really, really sure it's something that the county can afford to allow in. Because if 50 new houses get built, if 100 new houses get built, if 500 new houses get built, we're all subsidizing that development through our taxes. We're paying extra so that those people can move into our community. So this is not something that they're not doing us any favors by moving here. You know what I mean? We're having to subsidize that. When it comes to code enforcement, I was able to go out over this last month, December as well, with the missionaries from my church, and I saw some stuff that I knew was there from growing up in the community, but that I don't know. I guess I thought that this sort of stuff had been cleared up, but there are people in Spalding County who live in homes that when it rains they have to put buckets out in their kitchen, their living room, their bedroom to just catch the water, and they've been like that for decades because the landlord's not taking care of it, and the landlord doesn't care, doesn't even live in the state. Just give me my money and I don't care, and that's that sort of predatory relationship that these folks have with these poor renters. The county has the ability, if not the duty, to put an end to. And they don't allow that kind of stuff in Atlanta because Atlanta goes in and inspects every rental every year. They send their code enforcement folks to inspect every single bedroom. Now they do it for every hotel, but the West End is going to pass their inspection. You know what I'm saying? They do it for all the Airbnbs, but they also do it for every single rental home. We got to make sure that these people aren't being taken advantage of. Imagine how much sooner we could have stopped the, I'll be nice and call it the illegal care home that was in my former neighborhood in Hillendale, had we had the ability to go in, and had we exercised the ability to go in and see what was going on. Now, to pay for that, obviously that's a lot of code enforcement inspections and stuff. To pay for that, Atlanta charges a $150 per year per bedroom fee. And it goes 100% to these inspections. And they come in and say, hey, wait a minute. There are houses in Spalding County that are being rented for good money that don't have floors. that have dirt floors. And that the landlord goes, yeah, it's a dirt floor. Yeah, what? This is not okay. These landlords have been taking advantage of these people for far too long, and we have to put a stop to this. This is our responsibility to those folks who, you know, the least among us. You know what I mean? I want to talk about animal control as well. I know that we spoke on the phone with a couple of y'all about this animal control issue. The city is falling behind in it. The city will pick up animals and just drop them off at our animal shelter with no one cited, with no one. Where'd you get the animal from? You guys have to take it. Bye. Hey, wait a minute. That's not the way that this should work. And I know that I've spoken to the chair about getting the judges to come, getting the prosecutors to come and say, hey, this is how much this is costing our taxpayers per animal. And it's over $1,000. It's close to $1,500 per animal. And yet we've got over 100 animals right now in our animal shelter, I believe.
150.
That's made for 40, right?
48.
And so the reason that we had to take these animals isn't because it's not a wellness checkup. Like, these people are abusing these animals, which is now a felony in Georgia. And these people need to be arrested for the crimes that they're committing against these animals, and then those laws need to be enforced, including restitution to the taxpayers for having to go and spend the money to enforce deal with the enforcement of these people's crimes. But we all need to be on the same page, and the sheriff certainly should be a part of that discussion as well. Because for a while it's been, well, we'll arrest them, but they're not going to prosecute them. Well, we'll prosecute them, but they don't arrest them, and the judge is not going to levy we need to get everybody in the same room and go, let's get on the same plan. Like, you guys are going to arrest them, you guys are going to prosecute them, you guys are going to levy the fine, let's do this. And then no one gets to point at the next person in the line, let's all be on the same page. Otherwise, we're going to keep picking up animals for forever. They did this in Butts County, and it worked in a big way. On a more positive note, I'm excited about the Global Trade Symposium. I'm going. That's on Thursday night. I'm glad that they were able to come tonight. We're looking at, made some overtures towards Spalding, England, to see sort of to sistering with them. We've also reached out through former County Manager William Wilson, who's a big Rotarian, to see if he can get in touch with their Rotary Club and see if we can make some connections there to get the ball rolling. Rotarians tend to be people in the know in whatever village, city, or hamlet they're in, so we figure we can get with the right people through that. We mentioned tonight as well, there's two more things, the SPLOS and the T-SPLOS, and we're still, reeling's not quite the word, but still dealing with the consequences, both positive and negative, from the 2016 SPLOST. We have a great aquatic center, but boy, it's expensive. We have some great facilities, but boy, they're expensive. And no one will die if we don't get an aquatic center. Like, this is a want. This is a pure want. Now, it's a cool facility. I go swim in there all the time. My kids love it, but it's a want. And I want to once again reiterate on future SPLOST, until there are no more needs for the county, that's all that needs to be on these SPLOST and T-SPLOST is needs. There are plenty of needs. New jail, new courthouse, plenty of roads. I was driving my kids to school this morning and just looked and said, the shoulder of High Falls Road's just off in 3 places. We have plenty of needs in Spalding County. And I want to commit to the voters as well that I'm not going to pass anything from this side that isn't needs. So I know we talked about that at the workshop as well, but just to echo what the other commissioners have said as well about HB 581, our understanding is that it works like this, and there's some real challenges there. And so I reached out to Representative Camp, who was one of the sponsors. and said, "Hey, here's some real challenges we have." And she goes, "Oh, no, it doesn't work like that at all. It works. It's awesome, and it's Shangri-La, and everything's great." I went, "Oh boy, well, that's certainly not what we understood." And she goes, "Yeah, I'll get ACCG's guy who knows it backwards and forwards. He'll call you." And he called, and I said, "Hey, it's my understanding from talking with Beth that no, that is not how it works. What Steve Ledbetter said was correct. Wait a minute. Okay, so it does have all these challenges. So I would love it if Representative Camp could come, not to scold her or yell at her or anything, but like, hey, we all need to be on the same page. If the author of the bill thinks it works like this and it doesn't, then there's a disconnect. Because if she meant for it to work like that, then they need to go this session and make some big changes, because the way it works right now is challenging. The way it works right now is challenging. So that's another thing where everyone goes, yeah, but we need to get all the Yelbits in the same room and go, no, seriously. So otherwise, I mean, this is vitally important to ensuring that we can continue the trend that we've had for the last 8 years almost of rolling back our millage rate every year. We want to continue that trend. But HB 581, in my current understanding of it, and I hope I'm totally wrong, Lord knows it happens more often than you think, it's going to be really challenging to keep that going. That's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, ladies, for coming tonight. We appreciate you coming and listening and watching. Judge Thacker, thank you for coming and saying some nice words. I feel the communication right now is the best it's been in years, to be able to, for us talking to each other and talking to the other elected officials and staff that's here. So I appreciate you coming forth and saying that. 581, you heard almost everybody talk about it. My issue with it is we know that the county voted to approve it, and there's some discussion on us not approving it. We know that the Board of Ed is moving toward, Board of Education is moving towards not opting out. We need to hear from the citizens how they want us, what they think about it. This is much more of a listening session to me than it is any other time. So for House Bill 581, please come prepared to talk to us, listen to the presentations. We should have a couple or three of them on each session to be able to do that. Congratulations to Beckwin and Murray on being selected by the Chamber of Commerce. We appreciate that. Always goes along with the great work that you do, Stephanie, so we appreciate that. You heard the Commissioner Watts talk about Firehouse. For those of you, that's $43,000 that they gave to us today. That's no drop in the bucket for us on what we're trying to get done and the equipment that they provided to us that will save lives along the way. I understand that from the county manager that we're getting pretty close to 100% on our employees. To the commissioners, this is an issue of pay study and taking a big bite out of that apple and saying we're going to do that. And now the results are people coming here, working, and being happy with what they're trying to do. There's a lot going on right now. And I know that citizens are interested in which way we're going to vote on a number of issues. Let me just tell you, when we walk into the room, all 5 of us, I believe in my heart, have not made up their mind. We're listening to what the staff says. We listen to what the citizens have to say to us. And then in the end, we have to vote. And we take that very seriously. And it is a big responsibility. It doesn't get to be, oh, I'm just thinking about it tonight for the first time. We do a lot of reading, reviewing, and things like that. All right. County Attorney, any comments?
No, sir.
Okay, Dr. Burks? Okay. Any other last minute comments that somebody needs to make? All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. We're adjourned. Boy, that's quick.
I like these meetings.